So pit, oh yeah, Yinzer Crazy. This is it right here.
And what is up, Crazy Yinzers? Welcome to the show. Whether it is your first time listening or you are a longtime fan, we welcome you to a one-of-a-kind Pittsburgh sports experience. It's what we're bringing you every single week on the Yinzer Crazy Show and over at yinzercrazy.com. And today's episode, it's not just good, it isn't just great, heck, it's not even excellent. It's freaking Hall of Fame worthy. Because my guest on the show is none other than four-time Super Bowl champion and the owner of a new shiny gold jacket, former Pittsburgh Steelers safety, Donnie Shell. Yes, I'm so excited. Donnie talks to us about his Hall of Fame experience, including his moments with Coach Bill Cowher, Troy Polamalu, and Alan Faneca, who were also inducted. We also chat what it was like having Steeler fans littered throughout Canton, waving their terrible towels for the entire weekend. Like, my goodness, I shed a tear watching it. I can't imagine living it. It is wild to try and process that. My name is Mike Nicastro. You can find me on Twitter at MikedUpSports1. Now I want everybody to process this. This week is the last full week without football until early February. Yeah, it's here. We've made it. And one thing that has really stood out to me, and part of the reason as to why we started Yinzer Crazy in the first place, is not just how much the fans miss seeing the athletes last year in person while dealing with pandemic-related challenges, but just how much the athletes missed the fans. You guys are a big part of this. You don't believe me? Just ask Chris Wormley, Steelers defensive end. We'll be chatting with him every week on the Yinzer Crazy Show, and he told myself and Jordan York just last week that the guys are really looking forward to Yinzers being back at Heinz Field once again, bringing them energy because it's such a critical part of the entire operation. And he's never lived it. He was a Ravens player prior to last season, so this will be his first year with a packed field at Heinz. So get your damn Yinzer Crazy terrible towel ready, and like the great Petey Pablo once said, twist it around your head like a helicopter, because we are that close to football with full stadiums. If you didn't get a chance to tune into the Chris Wormley Show, it was insane. Insanely dope. Dare I call it a life-changing experience for all involved, even you, hopefully. We're going to bring you surprise special guests all season, like only we can. In the first episode that dropped recently, we brought a Steelers Super Bowl champion and another Michigan man onto the show. If you still don't know who that is, it's a teaser. I'll let you go check it out yourself. You can listen to the Wormley Show here or head over to YouTube now and subscribe to Yinzer Crazy for free to watch each episode all season long. And get this, we're also going to be bringing the Chris Wormley Show and Chris Wormley live on location at some of your favorite Pittsburgh restaurants this fall and winter. So stay tuned to those updates on social media. Make sure you're following us at Yinzer Crazy Show on Twitter. You can gram with us too, even at Yinzer_crazy on Insta. What a week it's been. Hey, one thing we're all monitoring this week, who will make the final roster of the Pittsburgh Steelers? Just because you weren't a high draft pick doesn't mean you do not have a chance at success. Take it from this guy. Donnie Shell went from undrafted to the Hall of Fame. And now he's ready for what's arguably his biggest moment of his career. A guest appearance on the Yinzer Crazy Podcast. Take it away. Today is another Hall of Fame episode for us. I don't have time to list all of his accolades. He is a four-time Super Bowl champion, of course a four-time All-Pro with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he now has one gold jacket. Hey, that's the max you can get per person, and this guy was long overdue for his. Donnie Shell, welcome to the Yinzer Crazy Show. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good to be with you guys today.
Well, we cannot be more honored to have you on the show. I was talking to you off air a little bit. Obviously, it's important to note that you're much more than a football player, Donnie, or a guy with a football resume. We were laughing. They only gave you 6.5 minutes at that Hall of Fame speech, so you didn't get a chance to talk about much of your post-football life. But I know you wanted to tell everybody about the important foundation work you've been doing now in the community. So I just want to kind of touch base on that and let everybody know what you're doing with this foundation work now.
Yes, my wife and I 5 years ago started the Donnie Shell Scholarship Foundation, and it's designed to help students at South Carolina State University whose parents need financial assistance. So we give gap scholarships, like if they run out of financial resources and they're trying to register for school, they need $1,000, $1,500. We'll come in and supply that. Or if the student needs a computer or clothes for a special event, we have a special needs funds under there that we provide that. These are smart young people, but just need financial assistance. And if anybody would like to help, they can go to give.donnieshell.com and leave a donation.
That is give.donnieshell.com. Make sure everybody checks that out. I'll reiterate that a few times on this episode for you guys, but it really is a terrific endeavor and incredible community work that you're doing. You're very passionate about South Carolina State University. This is an HBCU, for those who aren't aware, historically black college. Why is it so important that we scout more at these schools and that we just give more opportunity for places like this, Donnie?
Well, there may be some more Donnie Shells down there, or Harry Carson, or Barney Chavis, played with the Denver Broncos, or Deacon Jones, or Mary Motley, or Darius Leonard, or Javon Hargraves. There may be some more down there. I think Bill Nunn did a great job and set a great example for any scout or GM that they need to explore and spend some time scouting the HBCU schools, because there's some hidden talent there.
Bill Nunn, another representative of Steelers, of course, who was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame this past year. You had one of my favorite quotes from your Hall of Fame speech. You said, "I want to encourage all parents to send their kids to South Carolina State University. They may be a general in the Army, a Supreme Court justice, a U.S. Congress representative, or just maybe in the Pro Football Hall of Fame." That is incredible stuff. And let's talk to you about that Hall of Fame experience. First and foremost, what was it like to have so many Steelers fans and members of Steelers Nation in that crowd for you that night, waving their towels?
It was very exciting. It felt like a game day in Pittsburgh. And it was encouraging to see the black and gold and waving, and they were making noise just like they were in Pittsburgh. So I thought I was in Pittsburgh, really.
You probably wanted to throw a helmet and pads on and start running around.
Well, no, don't go back that far, man.
All right. Fair enough. Maybe 10 years ago.
It was thrilling and exciting to see the enthusiasm of Steeler Nation.
Your daughter April presented you. It was a touching moment. Tell me what that meant for your family. Obviously, you're a big family man. You had your grandchildren there as well, rocking their Shell jerseys. They're looking so cute. How cool was that to have April there and doing that for you?
It was great because none of my children know me as Donnie Shell, the Pittsburgh Steeler, a former Steeler. They know me as Dad, and I wanted her to introduce me, and I know she would bring that element out, and it made me a proud father. She did a spectacular job. I'm very proud of her.
There's so much, Donnie, that goes on that week and that weekend that fans might not get to see. They might watch a little bit of the game on Thursday night, and then of course the Hall of Fame speeches on the weekend when they're actually happening. But there's a bunch of other little things, a parade, some dinners, things like that. Is there a moment for you maybe that people didn't get to see televised necessarily from the induction weekend that stuck out?
The parade was great. I had everybody was in it. I had all my grandchildren, my wife, and I think they had a great time. And the people in Canton, that's made you feel very welcome. But it was very exciting, and also the Steeler dinner afterward, the induction, they gave us have a dinner for all those who were inducted and their families. They did an incredible job. I've gotten so many compliments about that. It was real special. This was just like the Steelers. They do things first class, and it's faith, family, and football with them.
Did they put French fries and coleslaw on your sandwich and salad?
They came close.
Fair enough.
There are a lot of choices of other things.
What a weekend it was for the Steelers. Obviously, not just Donnie, Bill Nunn, but Coach Bill Cowher, Troy Polamalu, Alan Faneca. It was just an incredible weekend, and we were so happy to see you get in. It was well-deserved, and you're somebody who, you fought through adversity your whole life. You're an undrafted guy. You talked about that in your speech, how a Steelers reporter called you a long shot. That was another very memorable moment. From undrafted all the way to the Hall of Fame, what would you tell somebody now, Donnie? I'm very curious. Obviously you have a lot of undrafted free agents that still come into the league. We talked to a few on the Yinzer Crazy show recently. What would you tell a kid who's coming in without that pedigree to his first training camp and saying, hearing all those same things, you're a long shot, you're not going to make the team. What would you say to that guy?
You better have a plan. I have a plan. A plan A and a plan B. Plan A was to be the best conditioned athlete in training camp when I got there, and I was. Plan B would be the most prepared athlete that's come from steady tape and give him 100%. And when you do those things, and Plan B also was that if I didn't make it, I was going back to grad school and get my master's degree and become a teacher and a coach. So you got to have a plan. But my plan was you have to set yourself apart from any athlete in camp, and that if you give 100% on everything they ask you to do, and you're well prepared, you're going to separate yourself from other players.
I love the point you made about grad school, because at the end of the day, everybody's human. 52 players make the team. If you don't make the team, it's not the end of the world, right? There are other ways to impact society, and so I think that's a great message for some of these guys. Life doesn't end after football, right? I think you're one that could easily say that.
Oh, no question. I want to be a teacher and a coach. That was delayed somewhat because I played 14 years with the Steelers, but I was only 35 years old. So my first 2 years, I had my master's degree, and I was going back to be a teacher and a coach if something happened. And you got to prepare for life after sports, and also doing your career and after your career. You got to make sure that you have a balance. So when I was player development director at the Carolina Panthers, I coordinate those player programs, and one was continuing education and helping guys and their wives to go back and get their degree.
We're talking with former Steelers safety Hall of Famer. That don't ever get old. Donnie Shell on the Yinzer Crazy show today. Hey, you mentioned 14 years with the Steelers. One of the most popular questions I always get when I know we're going to do one of these shows is, ask him who he still talks to. Ask him if he's got a group chat with the 70s guys going on, and who is he still hitting up. What kind of relationship do you have with some of those other Hall of Famers from the 70s? Is it something where you'll run into them casually, maybe at a Steelers dinner at some point, or do you frequently talk to some of the guys?
No, we have a great relationship, and life is about building relationships. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things that I'm really proud of. When you spend 14 years with an organization, you build relationships with other players that are there. And they help, and you help encourage each other during your career. But now, I'm 40-some years afterwards, and I still have those relationships with Stallworth and Mel Blount, Franco, and a lot of other guys, Mike Wagner. All those guys, we built those relationships, and they're lasting relationships. And two is now we've crossed over and we're supporting one another in our community work. And what I'm doing with my foundation, the John Stallworth Foundation, the Mel Blount Youth Home, there's a lot of carryover value for you then when you're playing with them, and also with life after.
Well, that's just so much fun, and fans will love to hear that. Every time they cut away to Franco Harris at Hall of Fame weekend, he was smiling like a kid on Christmas morning. It was so fun to see him supporting his former teammate, and what a serious blessing it was to play with such a storied group, no question about it. And of course, hey, I want to mention that obviously I think most people that have listened to your speech are aware that You're a South Carolina guy from Whitmire, but now living in Rock Hill. But of course, Steeler Nation, man, it transcends a whole country. I'm sure you're still keeping up with the team a little bit. I'm not going to ask you to put your analyst hat on in full, but are you still following the team? Did you watch the games last year? And what do you think about some of the current safety play in today's NFL? It's changed a little bit with this passing nature. Am I right?
You're correct. Hey, man, I am a diehard Steeler fan. I don't miss any.
Yes.
I never miss any Steeler games. I'm just as passionate as those fans were over the Hall of Fame. You're disappointed when they lose, but you're encouraging them and you're hanging there, and then they're going to win some games. I watch them every Sunday during the preseason, during regular season, and I keep up with them. And keep up with the Rooney family and what they're doing in Pittsburgh. But like you say, the rules have changed, and you can't. You got to be aware of how you tackle people now and that sort of thing. But we never really were taught to tackle with our heads down or taught spearing people, but talk with our legs and our shoulders, head up, and see your target. So. That is kind of different.
Donnie, have the Steelers been in contact with you? When was the last time you were at Heinz Field? I'm sure they'd like to bring you back at some point. Obviously, last year was a very challenging year in terms of that, but I'm sure they'd love to have you for a game and introduce you to the fans and get another Hall of Fame round of applause from Steelers Nation at Heinz Field.
Yeah, I think I'm coming up in October.
All right.
To see my ring.
Yeah.
From the Hall of Fame, yeah.
Oh, cool.
I think it's in October. I got to check that date. But I usually try to get back at least once a year, once or twice. And it's always good to come back and be in that atmosphere because Steelers fans never change, man. They always they're always enthusiastic. They always supported us. And they know their football. So when you didn't give 100%, they get on you too.
Yeah, no question about it. Well, we're all enthusiastic about your Hall of Fame ceremony. It was also so beautiful and really, like I said before, long overdue. We can't wait to have you back in Pittsburgh for that ring ceremony. Hopefully that does happen, and we'll put some more French fries on your salad and sandwiches and whatnot, and give you a proper Pittsburgh greeting once more. Donnie, tell us the website once more that everybody can go to.
It's give.DonnieShell.com.
Tell you what, it's a great cause, and he is a great man. It's been an honor to have you on the show today, Donnie. Thanks so much, and here we go, Steelers, right?
Here we go, baby.
Wow, 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 wow. That was emotional. It was inspirational. It was passionate. It was palpable. There's so many words you can use to describe what just happened. And I'm just talking about the French fries on the sandwich part. Hey, listen, I want to remind you that we are the exclusive home for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You just listened to the Breakthrough Podcast in Pittsburgh sports. Just over the last few weeks, we've brought you exclusives with new starting inside linebacker Joe Schobert, current outside linebacker, budding star Alex Highsmith, Chris Wormley Show, of course, with special guest Lamar Woodley, and now, Donnie Shell. Tell you what, if you enjoy everything you're listening to and you want more, do me just a small favor. Head on over to Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you're listening to us, and just hit that subscribe button. You can even leave us a few sentence review if you're in the mood, telling us how much you love the podcast, or if you absolutely hate our guts. Either way, we certainly appreciate you tuning in. And I, of course, also want to remind you, tune in to the Chris Wormley Show all Steelers season long. Our next episode will be Tuesday, September 14th, which follows the Steelers-Bills regular season opener. We will have Chris, of course, and most likely another special Steelers teammate along to recap the game and preview the next week at home against the Raiders, as Chris Berman would say. It is a Yinzer explosion consistently, week after week, day after day, over on YinzerCrazy.com. And just like the athletes have said lately, just like I told you in the beginning, we do it for the fans. We love Yinz. We'll have original stories and breaking news all week over at yinzercrazy.com. So head on over, tell a friend. For Jordan York, I am at Mic'd Up Sports 1, reminding you every single week to stay safe and, more importantly, stay crazy. Freaking Donnie Shell, man. Donnie.
No, Yinzer Crazy, but so am I. Number one sports site in the burg, let me show you why. The latest stories in unbeatable podcast with your favorite athletes. You know you can't pause that. Super Bowl, World Series, Stanley Cup champs, rising stars, Berg personalities for the fans. We love our city, always Pittsburgh proud. When you're at your job or while you got your cell phones out, breaking down the touchdown goals and home runs, predictions and interview. Who does it like us? No one. Cheering on the Berg squads, no pom-pom. Don't know by now it's YinzerCrazy.com.
So pit, oh yeah, Yinzer Crazy. This is it right here, Yinzer Crazy. So pit, oh yeah, Yinzer Crazy. This is it right here, Yinzer Crazy. So pit, oh yeah, Yinzer Crazy. This is it right here, Yinzer Crazy. So pit, oh yeah, Yinzer Crazy. This is it right here, Yinzer Crazy.